What's going on, guys? So today is an exciting day in the BTBRV family. We are going to be adding a new trailer to the family, and this trailer is one that's been direly needed for quite some time. Now, we have access to all sorts of trailers at our ranch in Kingsville. The problem is that those trailers may or may not be available when we need to use them, since it's a family ranch and all sorts of people have access to that equipment. So you may go out there and need a certain type of trailer, and you find out that it's loaded up with hay bales, you find out that it's loaded up with logs or debris or something that somebody's loaded it with over the weekend while they're just trying to do a project. In our case, we live in Corpus Christi, so going out there to get a trailer doesn't always make sense, especially if you get there and you find that the trailer's already used or it's gone. So I finally decided to bite the bullet and get a trailer exclusively that we can use for our projects, and it is definitely one I think you're going to like. So hang tight, I'll be right back. What's going on, guys? So in front of me, you were looking at my brand new Texas Pride 7-foot by 14-foot dump trailer. They did so many cool things to this trailer, including taking their 20,000 pound GVWR trailer and derating it to 12,000 pounds for me. Simply means it's a 20,000 pound spec trailer. They put a 12,000 pound sticker on it, which means if I pair it to my 14,000 pound GVWR truck, I'm under the 26,001 pounds, just in the event someone's going to pay me to haul something. Now, Texas Pride makes all sorts of trailers like this dump trailer, as well as gooseneck versions, deck overs, lowboys, tilt trailers, and even car haulers. All right, guys, so I have Devin in front of me. Devin, I hope you don't mind being on camera.
Not at all.
All right, so Devin is actually the gentleman who drove this beautiful F450 towing this trailer down to me. They are actually willing and able to deliver trailers anywhere in the country, I believe, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's really cool, and that's another reason why I chose these guys. I could have a trailer spec'd out the way that I want it, while at the same time getting it delivered to me, so I didn't have to drive either out of state or even up far into the state to pick up a trailer. Where are you guys based out of?
Madisonville, Texas, about an hour north of Houston.
Okay, so you guys build everything in the state of Texas, right?
Yes, sir.
But I know that you guys sell them nationally, because when I was searching for more information about your product, I saw dealers all over the country that sell your product.
Correct, yes, sir. We've got locations stretching from Tennessee all the way out to Paris, California on the West Coast.
Okay, but if somebody wants like a purely customized build, they call you guys directly, work with, I guess, one of your sales folks like I did,
Correct.
And then you ask them what they want. And I know you can do a lot of special things that we didn't even have done on this trailer. Like, let's talk about some of those real quick. One of the first things that I opted against was having the jack stands on the back. I know a lot of people are going to say, why don't you put jack stands on the back? You load a tractor in the back, it's going to pull weight off of the back wheels of your truck. I didn't need the extra weight. And because the axles are positioned so far back on this trailer, you really aren't going to have that much leverage. You're going to have a bit of it, but it's not enough to really be concerned about. So I wasn't too concerned about having the jacks, and they added quite a bit of weight. So by removing those, removing the stake pockets, I was able to shave weight, take it off the curb weight or the empty weight of the trailer, while giving me more weight up to that 12,000 pound GVWR when driving down the highway. And again, it just makes the trailer a bit lighter when it's empty, so you can focus on cargo. All right, if you could, let's walk through the trailer. Let's start up front here with the A-frame and kind of point out what makes your trailers, I guess, a little bit different and what's special about this one.
Okay. First, as far as the tongue on the trailer, you know, it's a heavy 8-inch channel iron tongue. This is not something typically seen on a 14-foot dump trailer. In most cases, you're going to see a 6-inch channel iron tongue. Even in some cases where you do see an 8-inch piece of steel used, it's usually rated at about 10 pounds per foot, as where this is the heavier 11.5 pounds per foot on that material.
Okay, real quick. So that does add a little bit more weight to the empty trailer. However, it adds significantly more strength, right?
Absolutely.
I know that you focus on using heavier gauge steel in areas that are going to have the most stress applied to them.
Correct. And to make a good point is where your cylinder's pushing from. You know, I mean, you would definitely want the heavier material on this area, being that you've got a lot of your lift stress coming right here on this A-frame.
Absolutely. What's that? 3/8 inch thick plate steel?
Yes, sir. Moving to the top rail, also heavy wall rectangular tubing. What you a lot of times will see, and from a lot of manufacturers, is they take this same flat plate, bend it over and back down, just creating the visual effect of a top rail, as where here you've actually got a heavy wall rectangular tubing. Okay. So definitely good product.
Working our way back. Now let's stop right here real quick, because this is a big one for me. Let's focus in, let's squat down here a little bit and focus in on what makes these axles so special. Well, this whole running gear.
This is a heavier 9,000 pound axle. The 9,000 pound axle is one of the heaviest axles used on a single wheel application. For one, it comes with a massive set of 3 3/8 inch electric brakes. Hydraulic brakes are optional. You do have the heavier 7-leaf slipper spring suspension. So on top of that, you have an 18-ply tire. This is the heaviest tire offered for a single wheel application on this style of setup. From there, you move to the custom Alcoa rims. We offer aluminum rims, chrome rims, and the standard powder-coated steel rims.
So you're telling me an 18-ply tire, which is crazy. Typically, I recommend on heavy fifth wheels to go to a 14-ply tire. So that would make these a load rating J tire.
Correct.
That's nuts. That's crazy. 9,000 pound axles. These are the axles that most RV owners with big heavy fifth wheels would dream of having on their fifth wheel. You know what? I'm going to squat under here real quick so I can get a shot of one of those. Devin just informed me that we don't actually have to crawl underneath there to look at the axle, since he's lifting up the telescopic boom, and that is something worth talking about. Let's wait until it gets a little bit quieter here, but you get an idea of how this specific boom system works. This is really cool, and this is the newest, probably the highest end type of lift system that you're going to see on a dump trailer today. You can see where it is essentially, I believe it's 3 or even 4 tubes that compress into each other. This is a hydraulic system. Check that out. Do we get a full 45 on this?
You get a little bit more than 45, actually.
So a little bit more than 45 degrees worth of tilt here. One thing real quick before we focus on the axles and why we're up here front, went with the dual battery system. Definitely a good idea. Also, on the outside, you might have seen the solar panel. So this solar panel maintains these batteries through this little solar charger right here. So when this thing's in storage or not being used, you don't come back and all of a sudden can't lift your dump because you don't have any power. So this is going to maintain these 2 deep cycle batteries. I also opted for the wireless remote, so we have the wireless receiver right there, and I think he has the wireless remote in his hand too, plus the standard corded remote. And this is a very nice corded remote. Feels very industrial. One thing that I researched quite a bit after actually ordering the trailer was the best type of pump to have, and apparently KTI is the pump name you want to look for.
Absolutely. That's definitely one of the best American-made pumps on the market right now. And also we have an 8 amp charger here built in, also a battery tester with some LED lights on it. Here we have a 110 plug-in to where you can actually charge it with a standard extension cord.
So yeah, having the charging system there is really helpful, especially if you are going to use it. You need to come out and have a functioning boom arm here. So that is really cool. Now let's take a close look at these axles.
Okay. You also got a safety prop here.
Oh, so that's cool. So if you're going to be working in here, I guess you lower this down and there's a notch right there. Correct. That will sit on this, and that prevents it from falling on you and killing you.
You got it.
Okay, good deal. These are some huge axle tubes. So what's the diameter of your axles?
These are 4.5 inch axle tubes. Again, with the 7-leaf slipper spring setup, and again, the heavier 3.5 inch wide brake shoes on it.
Sweetness. 4.5 inch diameter axle tubes. I don't know if you can pick that up on the video. These are thicker than the axle tubes on my F450. These things are massive. Now, one area that I'm interested in understanding a little bit more about is this big open space right here. My mind tells me that we should stuff this thing full of cross members and bracing and just, you know, really build this out to be structurally indestructible. But why don't you have a lot of structural cross bracing in here?
It really comes down to what hydraulic system that you're using. And in this particular setup, of course, with all of your pressure coming from this front end, this is where you add the steel. Now, on other hydraulic setups, such as your dual cylinders or your scissor lift, you're pushing from the center of this braced on the main frame itself. So at that point, you do have to add a lot of extra bracing in here to make it sufficient enough to push from that area.
All right, so what I got out of that is the fact that you could put extra steel here, but you would just be putting it here to put it here, right?
Correct. Which overall would really just add an unnecessary weight to the dry weight of the trailer itself, decreasing your legal payload capacity.
All right, Devin, coming around here to the front again, let's take a look at this whole assembly up here. You want to talk about this jack? Because I know on the phone when we were building and speccing this thing out, you really made a big deal about the front jack that you use on your A-frame.
Right. We definitely use one of the heaviest jacks offered in the industry. This is a big 12,000-pound spring-loaded drop leg jack. Typically what you see used in the industry would be a smaller 7,000 to 8,000 pound jack, and even on the heavy side, a lot of times 10,000 pound. This is the heaviest 12,000 pound jack on the size trailer.
Is this specific jack on this trailer because I got the 20,000 pound built trailer, or does this come on any of your other trailers?
We actually use this on 90% of our models. You don't get a smaller jack until you get down to a smaller 7,000 pound rated trailer.
Oh, wow. So you mean you even put something like this on a 10,000 pound rated trailer?
Correct.
Well, that is really cool. So this is a cool looking coupler. You want to talk about this?
Yeah, this is a heavier 25,000 pound rated ball coupler. Reason it looks a little different is what you usually will see on a 14-foot or any bumper pull setup for that matter is a 14 to 16,000 pound rated coupler. So this is one of the heaviest 2 5/16 ball couplers available.
Yeah. And you guys have a pintle connection if somebody wants that too, right?
Correct.
Okay, I specifically wanted the 2 5/16 ball because I have my B&W hitch and I want to be able to just hitch it right up. And I'm not going to be articulating over any angles that would require a pintle. But this thing is really cool. And correct me if I'm wrong, is this the self-latching mechanism?
Yes, sir, it is.
So this one, when you drop it down, it pulls back, latches on, kind of like my goose box hitch that I have on my fifth wheel. That is really cool. Hey, while we're here, let's take a look at the sticker here. I love looking at these stickers. 12,000 pound rated. This is their 20,000 pound built trailer, derated to 12,000 pounds. This plus the 14,000 pound GVWR of my truck equals 26,000 pounds. I could have had this trailer spec'd out all the way up to 20,000 pounds, but again, I want to keep it under the 26,000 pound total weight of my truck and trailer, and that's the reason why I had it derated to 12,000 pounds. And that is another really good reason to look at a Texas Pride trailer, because they're willing to do that. I have a trailer designed to hold 20,000 pounds in front of me that is rated for 12,000 pounds on the highway, but I know that I can use this in a farm or an agricultural setting or a personal setting off highway on my own personal property and not have to worry about overloading this thing. Okay, so we moved around to the other side here. So, Devin, do you want to explain kind of the philosophy behind how you design and engineer the floor of this dump?
On this particular model, you've got an upgraded 7-gauge flooring with your cross members moved in on a 12-inch center. Your standard flooring would be a 10-gauge, cross members set on 16-inch on center. With this layout, just ensures that you really have the toughest flooring possible. If you're dumping heavier material over the side, such as rock, brick, things like that, this is definitely an area that you'd want to upgrade.
Okay, so this is power up, or at least it's hydraulic. You have your hydraulic motor, which is powered by the batteries, but this is gravity down, which means that the weight of the dump body itself will actually lower it down. Let's go ahead and drop this down. Nice and quiet coming down. Yeah. We can actually have a conversation. Pushing all that hydraulic fluid back into the reservoir. And that's quiet. All right, now that we have it lowered down again, you want to kind of walk me through some of the other design cues that you guys do. I guess a lot of these are standard, but you can kind of point out what's standard and what's an upgrade.
Yeah, for one, we've got the heavier 14 gauge diamond plate fenders with a support brace here in the center. You know, so definitely making it stout enough to stand on if needed.
I was just about to ask you that. Can I stand on those fenders? That's awesome. It looks like all LED lighting.
Correct. All recessed LED lighting, and that lighting does come with a lifetime warranty.
And I love this. This is cool. They did this for me. This was super cool. This is something that they offer, but I told them that I was going to put this on my YouTube channel, and when it arrived today, check that out. Big Truck, Big RV. That is really cool, and I really appreciate that. Let's take a look at this spreader gate. So I have a feeling that the break point here in my logo is going to be between the C and the K. Well, let's take a look at it. Let's open this thing up and see how this works.
So, operates as a standard barn door setup.
Okay.
Folds back around. Of course, you've got these T handles, which will unlock into this piece here on the side. Hold them open while you're dumping.
Okay. I see some companies that use chains, so I like the fact that you guys use the T handles.
And one of the bad things you really see about the chains is when you're going down the road and over time, these things are swinging back and forth. It really just takes every bit of pain off on the door from.
That's true.
You know. And to release the spreader gate, just come over to this side, pull this secondary latch, and from there.
Okay, and you set your distance or your pour flow with the chain here, just fed through there. Okay.
Exactly right. Another point to probably bring up is we actually frame the entire door out of 2x2 square tubing. This is a lot heavier material than what you typically see used on a door setup.
Okay. I also see that you put Zerks everywhere.
Correct.
That's nice as well, so you can keep all your equipment maintained.
And you've also got them on your dump hinges as well.
You know, guys, I am going to climb into the back here because I figure, what's the point? And he said I can step on the fender, so I'm stepping on the fender. Crawling in the back. So I see they position 4 D-rings, and these are some pretty hefty D-rings all the way around the rear interior here. And again, 3-foot high walls here. And the reason for that instead of a 2-foot is because typically if you use 2-foot, it's going to come to about here. And it's usually here. And you have to put stake pockets to get more cargo, or you have to get these long 2x12s that you see some brands use. And this just gives you significantly wider cargo storage here, which is really nice. And what I also like about this is if you're driving something up in here that maybe has a small door on it, it looks like you have a little bit easier access getting in and out of your equipment.
Gives you a little bit more room in between.
Yep, because this step up down here is only about 1 foot.
Correct.
So anything above 1 foot would be able to benefit from that angle there. And then we have the tarping system. That is the next thing we're going to take a look at. And some people may not be aware, but depending on what you have loaded in the back here, it could be required by law to have a tarping system covering it, right?
Correct. As well as a lot of dump sites require that your load be tarped when you hit the dump field, and a lot of times being fined if it's not tarped.
Yep. So let's see how easy this thing is to operate. Okay, so we are going to take a look at how this tarping system works. Devin, can you show me basic principles of using the tarping system?
Absolutely. So basically, it's in a lock position now. As you can see, this handle catches the teeth on the gear here. Mm-hmm. So you put it in the unlocked position. All of your slack rope ties around these 2 aluminum hooks here.
Okay.
So when it's in tow mode. So once you have your rope disconnected from the aluminum hooks, it's attached to a guide bar that will then guide this tarp down the top rail of the trailer. So what you end up doing is pulling this all the way to the rear of the trailer and then locking the guide bar into these steel J-hooks.
Okay.
At that point, then you'll just hand crank tight. Simply put back in the lock position.
Okay, so here at the back of the trailer, you have these little pins that you pull out, and these little doors drop down. And inside of here are the aluminum loading ramps. Okay, so Devin's about to pull out this second ramp. These ramps are half the weight of the steel ramps, but they hold the same capacity. And they're rated at 6,000 pounds per ramp to give you a total capacity of 12,000 pounds. So if you have something like a Bobcat or a skid steer, generally weighs about 6,000 pounds. You shouldn't have any problem loading that. Shoot, even some of the mini excavators are only about 10,000 pounds. And as long as, again, you roll them up on both the ramps, which is the only way you could do it, you really aren't going to have anything to worry about. Okay, so now we've pulled the ramps out. They look incredibly light. What's interesting, and you told me about it earlier, is the fact that you design the interior width to be slightly wider than most dump trailers. And why do you do that?
Correct. Because a lot of your machines that you're hauling are 10,000 pounds, are usually over 80 inches wide. On any other models you see built with this size of axle, you're only going to get about 78 to 79 inches on your inside width. So what we do is we actually bring the tilt frame out those couple inches.
Okay.
Still giving you the full 82 inches of inside width for your heavier machines.
Okay, so with the ramps attached to the back here, this is a relatively low-sitting trailer. It only sits maybe 2.5 feet off the ground, but there could be a bit of an angle here, especially from the back side of it. So you said that you have a best practice that a lot of people don't think about when loading equipment into the back.
What a lot of guys don't know is with this style of hydraulic setup is you can actually tilt the front of the trailer up some to help with this breakover point if you're dealing with a ground clearance issue on whatever you're hauling.
Okay. All right, so it pretty much makes it this nice gentle transition upwards.
Correct.
Oh, that's very cool. So you can essentially use this as a tilt trailer for your equipment, easier loading. Hitching it up to the red F450 from the white F450. All right, guys, check this out. We have it all hitched up to the back of the 450. And some of you may be asking, could I have had it color matched to the truck? Probably, but I really didn't want it color matched to the truck for a couple reasons. First of all, ruby red is a very, very expensive paint. It is very expensive, and it's not your traditional base coat clear coat. It actually has pearl in it and all sorts of other stuff. That red to me was a very good looking red on a trailer because I just think it makes the trailer stand out, especially with the Alcoa wheels. Check it out. That is beautiful. But more importantly, it's a dump trailer. I mean, this thing's going to have rocks thrown in it. It's going to have stumps thrown in it. It's going to have concrete. If it's up to Robbie here, he's going to dump every bit of concrete they have in the back of their yard in the back of this thing. I absolutely appreciate how overbuilt it is, though. And that, to me, is probably the single most important aspect of having a trailer like this. Now, let's talk about the one thing everybody's going to be asking. What did it cost? So a trailer like this from just about any other manufacturer spec'd out similar to this, no one can really spec it out the same with the same axles, the same type of setup, but from another company, you'd probably be looking between about $16,000 to $18,000 and all the way up to $20,000 for some brands. The trailer from Texas Pride direct, because you're dealing with the factory, you're dealing with the people that make it, under $11,000, right under $11,000. It was like $10,900 and change. But that is getting a trailer equipped with 17.5-inch aluminum Alcoa branded wheels, plus 18-ply tires. That's crazy. 18-ply J-rated tires. 3-foot sidewalls with the nice wider body extension to it, which I really like. Tarping system, the front telescopic boom jack, that is really cool. Dual deep cycle batteries, solar charger, a nice wall charger here to plug it into your home, including a 12,000 pound rated tongue jack. That is cool. Plus, they derated this trailer specifically to meet my needs at 12,000 pounds. I take this thing out to the ranch, I can load it all the way up to 20,000 pounds if I want to, but driving it around, pulling it down public streets, this thing will never weigh more than 12,000 pounds, and the sticker is also going to show any enforcement officers, anybody else, that I am complying with it. This is just a very, very nice setup. I'm just really impressed with the overall build. I really appreciate that Devin was able to come on camera and speak about it. He was my sales rep, and he did a phenomenal job speccing this out with what I wanted, while at the same time taking weight off where I didn't need it, where it would just add bulk, or where it was just going to be, you know, it would be there just to be there, and it didn't serve any practical purpose. Now, when I ordered this trailer, I did specify to them that this thing is going to be on my YouTube channel and asked them if they could do anything special for it. So They included this really cool Big Truck Big RV logo across the back of it for me, and that was because they wanted it to really stand out, and that is just a super nice customized touch. If you want something like that done for maybe your business name, you're going to probably have to call them and see what they would charge to do something like that. I have absolutely no idea, but I really appreciate the fact that they went the extra step to customize this trailer for the YouTube channel, which I think is really cool. Anyways, guys, I know this is a long video. I hope you liked it. This is a very cool trailer, and it's definitely one I'm going to get a tremendous amount of use out of. Overbuilt. That's the main thing I always talk about on this channel. Overbuilt. Hi, puppy. This is definitely something that I think people are going to want to see a little bit more about. And you all, of course, remember Robbie. What do you think of the new trailer?
I like it. I like it. It's as far as service goes, it's a look trailer.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing it being used.
And you guys already conned me into coming here so I can move that. Is it that big pile of dirt behind that ugly black trailer over there?
No, it's not that big pile of dirt. Actually, it's on the other side. It's when we tore up the concrete from that back side right there. They just tore the concrete up, all the rebar and stuff, on the back side over there. And so that's why I'm conning in the haul it for me.
So backstory, when I asked him, hey, you know what, good backdrop for the trailer, I was like, yeah, come on. Yeah, definitely. I might have something you can use it for too. Appreciate it, man. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment. Subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we will talk to you again very soon.